Hey everyone, we're here with another regular episode of Is Love Blind? Podcast no longer covering only Love is Blind. So, I'm Neil, with my co-host Shelly,
Hey everyone.
and we're diving into other dating and reality topics. So we're continuing on our theme of Taylor Frankie Paul's Bachelorette cancellation and some of your thoughts on a disproportionate response from the media. I don't know, or from ABC, I guess, right? It's ABC, right? The show. Gosh,
Yeah.
I was like, but yeah. So, do men in these situations hold the same accountability? Like her season was canceled. That's
Mhm.
likely a huge amount of money lost.
Yeah.
He announced it on their kid's birthday. That's just kind of up. Like,
Yeah.
get out of here. But yeah, and so now I guess in light of that, he's going to be on a reality show. I guess it's not his show per se, but he's going to be on a reality show.
Yeah.
So where's
Yeah.
his comeuppance? He gets to be a dirtbag, and then everyone's like, "Yeah, it's okay. Just let it go on television." I guess, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Question mark society, but
Yeah. So with Taylor Frankie Paul, I think when a lot of people saw the video, their response was, okay, but what if it was a man? What if it was a man doing this, throwing chairs? There's a kid in the room. He would be arrested. He would be this. He would be that.
yeah,
Imagine if it was a man. And okay, let's imagine if it was a man. Okay, cool. All right. So I'm just going to go down the list for a second. Okay.
sure.
So we have Chris Brown in 2009 with all the photos of him physically assaulting Rihanna. And we have photo evidence of it. I think there's other women as well. What
Yeah.
happened to Chris Brown? He's still a celebrated artist. His shows they're still sold out. I know he came to Raleigh pretty recently. Like back in the fall, his show was sold
Right.
out. Um,
Great.
yeah. Um, yeah, so where like I don't believe he faced any jail time. Yeah, and
Sure.
we saw the
Yeah.
physical evidence of what happened there.
Oh, of course, yeah. I don't think there was any.
Yeah.
There's no question on this, right?
No.
That he
No.
just physically abused her, like straight
Right.
up hit her. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's and again, so I'm gonna circumvent the for we don't get comments, but like we're also going to do an episode on the manosphere. But if there's any manosphere, if we end up into someone's feed because we were talking about it, they're the ones that are gonna jump and be like, but she said it was okay. And so like what? Don't she's still like she was still with him for a while. And it's like, well, yes, sometimes it takes you a while to get out of an abusive relationship because there's a power dynamic differential.
Right.
So, like you said, people recognize it and don't always have the ability to get out right away. So
Yeah.
I just know that's what someone's gonna say, and I want to head it off with like, yeah, I'll get it.
Yeah. No. Um, okay, let's keep going. All right. So Ray Rice. He was arrested and for assaulting his fiance. There's a video of him knocking her unconscious in an elevator.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, his career did effectively end because of that, but I don't know that he faced, I mean, he was arrested, but I don't know like what else happened to him.
Yeah.
Floyd Mayweather Jr., multiple domestic violations against him, or violence allegations against him over the years. He served some jail time. Probably not enough, still celebrated, probably. Sean Combs, multiple allegations for him. I think he got what, like a year and a half, for all the abuse his ex-girlfriend Cassie endured, not to mention all his other victims.
Is that over? I thought he was still. I thought Diddy was like full on like fucked.
No.
I thought he's the Epstein level creep now.
Oh, he is.
Everyone's totally ripping on Diddy parties. as
Yeah,
if like he's
yeah.
canceled though, right? I mean,
I think he's canceled, but like, what real? Okay, he's canceled. Fine. Okay, but like, what real consequence did he face? He for all the he did. Like,
oh, of course, but yeah, no, I mean,
yeah,
look, let's be real here. If the real question is like, if she were a man and threw that chair, the exact same thing would happen. No,
yeah,
they don't do anything about domestic violence, and if you think they do anything against men in
yeah,
domestic violence situations, brother, you haven't talked to enough men.
yeah. Like less than
I
10% of men face jail time for domestically abusing their partners. Less than 10%. And for rape victims,
yeah,
it's
I mean,
like that's one out of every 100 rapists will actually face jail time. Um, so
false.
it's yeah. So yeah, when we're saying like imagine it's a man, like it has been a man so many times. You think of Charlie Sheen, Nicolas Cage, Mel Gibson. It's been a man so many times. And like
Yeah,
Charlie Sheen was still allowed to, have his movie career. Nicolas Cage still has his career. Josh Brolin, Sean Penn, like all these men still have their careers. Despite having all these allegations against them, in spite like some of them are guilty. And yeah, I don't know what the difference is. So going back to Dakota, so he was on Mormon Wives, obviously,
yeah.
and is on part of Dad Talk. So Dad Talk went to Vanderpump Villa for a week, and so he is being edited out of that show. However, he is also on Alex Cooper's Unwell Winter Games, and I think there's 15 other reality TV stars
What's the
on.
premise? Is it all mentally ill people competing? Because that's what I believe based on him being assigned to it.
Yeah.
But
Oh, because I'm well.
what
No,
is
yeah. I don't know the
no?
premise of the show. I haven't seen it.
Oh,
It's
I
just
think
like
it might be people with mental problems. I think that's what it is.
I mean, just call it unwell, but yeah, that's not yeah. It's just people competing for like winter sports, basically, I think. Whatever that means. So yeah, but he is still on that show. And so while Taylor Frankie Paul got her whole season Bachelorette canceled, he is still, his show is going to continue on. Yeah, and it just raises the bigger question of like, when do men or do they pay for anything? Because if you think about like sports, entertainment, politics, like so many men have been accused. If we think about the Epstein files, like the only person that's paying consequences is Ghislaine Maxwell. And guess what? She's a woman. All the men that have been accused in that file, what has happened to them? Absolutely nothing. Some of them, yes, I guess, have resigned from their jobs or whatever, but what real
Sure.
consequences have they faced? The only person facing jail time is a woman. And like,
Yeah,
make it make sense.
it's a great question. I don't have an answer other
Like,
than
yeah, it's
the
a
state of
rhetorical
the
question, but
world.
like,
Yes, but yes, that's a great. I don't know, man. Because again, I hate to say it, even in an like I hate everything about the administration, and you have to
mhm,
look at it. Who are the only two people who have been fired out of the cabinet currently?
yeah,
It's only women.
yeah,
And I'm like, women just constantly get thrown under the bus.
yeah,
And yeah, and then men just do whatever they want. But that's why there's all this toxic masculinity out there. It's because they're getting fed all this. And so, we'll talk about the manosphere in that episode. But like, I think it's indicative of just like a really gross mentality because guys
yeah,
don't want to do anything. They
yeah.
want all the rewards and none of that work. It really sucks. They just want to be lazy about
When people say the system's broken, it's not broken. It's working
it.
like
It's
it was
working as
designed to
intended.
work.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's working
yeah,
as intended.
yeah,
It's
um,
monstrously efficient at what it is meant to do.
yeah,
And so, yeah, it grinds people up because
yeah,
that's how you control them. So it's really gross.
yeah,
And I don't know, like, I hope maybe people wake up to it some, right? Like, maybe they see, like, I don't understand. Like, don't watch. Okay, like, first off, what can you do? Don't watch that show with that jag off in it. And even if they edited them out of Vanderpump, whatever, get them out of there. They'd be like, don't watch that show, or just don't watch that season, don't watch that episode, whatever.
yeah,
Like, also, nobody needs to watch whatever it is, whatever he's on, unwell,
yeah.
unbalanced men winter games. I don't know, whatever it is, whatever this show is.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to watch there's literally no reason for you to watch it, even if you have no taste, because I guarantee it's gonna be terrible. I don't
Yeah.
care what it is, but I'm predicting it now. It's not worth you don't need to watch that. So just fucking don't watch it and be like, yeah, he's also gross. Like you
But
can
it, like,
punish both sides.
yeah, but it just speaks to, like, a bigger problem in general, like, I just feel like a lot of these people just never face any real consequences, like, think about Bill Cosby, like, he drugged and raped all these women. I think he got a couple of years in jail. That's it. For all the all the damage he did. Brock Turner got 3 months in jail. The worst thing that came out of that is he can't eat steak anymore. Like whoop de doo. But he ruined somebody else's life. And only
Yeah.
faced 3 months in jail. So I feel like these people. If you wanted to commit these crimes, like what is the incentive for you not to? Like you're maybe at best you might get a little bit of jail time, maybe. You're probably not going to get like you can still have a career at some point. You can still make a
Yeah.
comeback. Like it's like
Yeah.
these people aren't really ever canceled. And like Taylor Frankie Paul, I don't know if she's ever coming back from what she did. And fair, fine, okay, but like why do these men get so many passes every time?
Because men are in charge.
I guess I don't
I
know.
don't know, man. Start building guillotines. I don't know what to tell you. I'm literally to a point of like, yeah, I don't know. Like I'm stuck because what do I do? I mean, the only thing I do is one, not tolerate rapists, and so there's a lot of guys out there that talk a big game, and they'll say all these things and be really people, and then try to pretend like I don't know, they like pretend they're a nice person to someone like to somebody they don't want to be a piece of shit. And so I don't know, they're just all it's just sociopathic and they
Yeah,
don't and it's really awful. And I don't I'm like the best you can do now is like can't like just don't consume their media and
yeah,
also do stuff like this or tell your friends, no, don't watch that show. That sucks. That guy sucks.
yeah.
Like social pressure is about the only way we have because the government's not doing anything. No one else, no one's coming to save us. You got to do it yourself.
It's a choice. Like, I mean, you think about like Michael Jackson, for example, like he is still a celebrated artist. Nothing, like I have friends that still listen to him and defend their right to listen to him, which fine, whatever.
Yeah,
I'm not going to somebody's house and turning off their their music. That's their right. But
yeah,
also like think about the impact that it's having.
yeah.
Yeah, so and I wanted to go back to we kind of touched on Christy Nome and Pam Bondi. So these two to me were very much I don't agree with anything or a lot of what they did.
Oh, yeah,
But to
terrible.
me they seemed very much like pick me girls. Like they were trying to
Yeah,
play the game. They were trying to play
yeah,
the system.
of
And they
course.
still got so it's like you can fight against the system. You play the system. Like what do you do? Like, it's a losing game.
Right.
It's designed to be a losing game. It's not
Yeah,
designed for, certain people to win this game. It's designed for other people to come up on top, and it's working. And it's just yeah.
I mean, so to be fair, a lot of those people are dying. Not like, I'm not saying violence, obviously, they're old. And you only have so long before you give out, buddy. Like, sorry, I'm reveling in it now
Yeah.
because there's nothing like a narcissist. There's nothing for a narcissist worse than their physical downfall, their
Yeah.
physical deterioration. And right now, like Trump trying to put his name on money and is this desperate existential crisis of a feeble, crippled, pathetic, empty man. And I
Yeah.
love watching that suffering. It's miraculous to me.
Yeah.
So his eternal suffering in his soul right now is great.
Yeah.
But like, I think that's the only way is you gotta like first like that's what people don't realize, right? How many senators were alive, grew up, not alive, became of age in a time women couldn't own bank accounts. That's how much they want to control you.
Yeah.
They are dying because
Yeah.
we're all 80, right? We're getting run by geriatric losers.
Yeah.
And so that's the problem, right? And so I'm hoping eventually younger people slowly start, because a lot of them are trying to retire now because it's really embarrassing look. They have a really embarrassing look, and they also probably share like AI videos that they think are real, and then it's embarrassing. You're like, that's not even a real video. So like, I'm hoping one culturally that shifts up.
Yeah.
Maybe that rhetoric will die down a little bit, but they've also stoked a lot of flames in the open. So
Yeah. But
it's really
I think
awful.
it's a system problem. Like, I don't know that just these people dying off is enough. Like, because somebody's gonna be there to replace them, I think. Um, because the
Sure.
mentality hasn't changed yet. Like, we haven't fixed that part. So, like, Trump and whoever else, like, he's just a like outcome. He's like a result of the whole system. Like, someone like him was built to thrive in this system, and that's exactly what he's doing. Well, I don't know if he's thriving necessarily, but he is in the position that
He's
he
having a
is
hard time.
because
Yeah.
yeah, because, the
Oh, it
system
definitely
that we're
supports
in.
terrible people, but like, I mean, I think that's the thing, right? It reinforces its own power, and so I guess you just have to take it. But what am I? I'm not. What am I supposed to do if I'm like, I'm just gonna get attacked? I'm on the side. I look like the side that's bad, so that's not great. I'm like, I don't know. I guess you just gotta start doing bad. I guess like, don't do bad. Do
Yeah.
legally obstructive protest things. But like, I don't know. But yeah, I get like, my best thing is like, do what I can to combat those ideas when you see them in real life. But I also isolate myself so much that I don't ever deal with these people in real life ever. And I don't know any friend that would say some of these things in front of me. And if they did, oh, please, oh, fake Lord of Lords. We're recording on Easter. I'm defiling God, but sorry. But I pray someone would do that to me so that I can crush them. Like, I get very upset. And it's the last time they ever do that. They very much question from then on doing that in front of people again, because you never know if one of your friends is progressive and just hauls off. And so I have like belligered people into like almost crap.
So, I mean, fair, like, but like that, I don't know that you're changing their minds about anything. You're just making it harder for them to be express themselves.
Shame is the only thing they respond to,
But
and you
like,
have to shame
you're
them to
not
stay.
really changing the mentality. Like, that's what really needs to change. I feel like, and I don't know.
I
I
agree.
don't have a solution, obviously. Like, I don't know what it is, but I feel like shame is just not enough because they're still carrying these beliefs, and like they may have felt shame for years, but then we ended up with this administration and we're in the times we are now. Um, so it doesn't, I don't know that, I mean, it helps, but it doesn't really help. Like, I think there needs to be a huge systematic change. I don't know how you go about doing that. I really don't. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah. I don't know, man. That's the thing. I don't know. I still see a lot of stuff. People are pretty about things. People don't love it.
yeah,
So I think the problem is, like, for example, I wonder, I feel like your algorithm tells you different things than mine
oh, for
because
sure.
I have no tolerance for people that I don't like.
Hmm.
And so I know what I like and am, and so it won't show me that content because it doesn't make me hate engage with them. It just makes me physically angry, and I'm just like, this guy or whatever, and I'll just swipe. So like, I see a lot of people that are like, nope, this ain't how it's gonna go, which I think is very refreshing. And I think part of it is that. I also think part of it is up to men to protect women
Hmm.
in spaces more like, oh, The answer isn't women can't do anything about it. Why? Because men are the problem. Women aren't the problem.
Yeah.
So if women aren't the problem, they can't be the solution. If internally it's men being fundamentally broken. Do you want to know why they're fundamentally broken? Men can't feel feelings, and we've already like it's all a loop, and it's ingrained in society. And the only way to change it is people connecting with other people to be more empathetic and kind.
Yeah.
And people have to do that, but young boys can't be told things like boys don't cry or
Right.
like that's not whatever. And so it's like until we stop doing that and actually everyone is a whole person and seen as a whole person who should have multiple characteristics about themselves and not man do man thing, woman do woman thing. And it's
Yeah.
like, how about people are much bigger than that? And if you don't want to be, live your life how you want, bud. But don't tell everyone your lack of imagination does not limit my reality.
Right.
So like get your together. And if you don't want that, find someone else who doesn't want that. And here's the problem. If most or all women don't want quote that. What I mean by that is like stoic, no feelings. I pay for the food and house, and then that's it, right? I don't engage with the children or emotional labor or house labor or any of that. But then the wife still has to work. If you want to blame, and look, let's be real. You got to get everyone on your side, right? This whole game is about winning the people's hearts. So here's my pitch to conservative men. Hey, bud, if you want women to shut the up and stay in the kitchen, you gotta pay men a living wage plus the amount to have that family. You're the dumbest of you don't know shit about you dumb piece of shit. You can't have a woman at home raising your 3 point whatever children to not quote be replaced. We can talk about that. I keep hearing this about replacement theory now. And I'm like, wait, white people are being replaced by whom? Like, what do you mean? There's plenty of us. They're all around. I see them everywhere, people. As a matter of fact, I can't throw a rock without hitting a white person in my neighborhood. So, and I'll tell you what, my neighbor's kid sure as might hit me, a white person, with his ball that he throws against the wall. So guess what? There seem to be plenty of us guys. And I don't know what you mean by replace city. So that's all it's all racist, antagonistic insanity because the base human value is fear. So you got to get people on your side. So here's my thing: conservatives, stop complaining about raising the minimum wage. If you want a woman to be able to stay home and cook for you, you might have to make enough money to do that. You dumb. And you can't go, but they can't work at this job because that's easy. And I'm like, that ain't how that works. Someone's got to do every job, right? So, like, if you
Yeah.
want it, stop shilling for billionaires who up all the money and don't pay you shit.
Yeah.
Like, get on board. But I think that's the thing. I think they're all very scared. Their way of life is being threatened because they don't want to do any of that work because they were promised if they worked hard and just made money, that that's enough and that women will shut their mouths and stop complaining about it. Sorry, bud. The future is here. The future is now, my friend. Like, remember, instead of flying cars, you get having to talk about emotions. Sorry. Science fiction doesn't work out the way you think. Now you have to be a person with feelings and not a tiny, afraid child inside.
Yeah.
But that's what I see. I think it's all fear and insecurity, and they don't know what to do. And
What's
that's
being
scary.
taken away exactly? I would really like to understand.
Oh, it's very simple.
By the way,
It's very
that's a
simple.
rhetorical question. It's not like an actual question. Like what? Seriously, what is being taken? Nothing's being taken away. Like that is ridiculous.
Privilege. It's privilege.
Yeah.
Privilege. Equality feels like oppression when you
Right.
currently are the one experiencing privilege. That's
Yeah.
the problem, right?
Yeah.
So equality to them feels like oppression, and you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You're just not able to consider my.
Yeah.
But again, it's systematic. Like
Yeah.
they're just saying it out loud, man. Like there's a war against empathy, for Christ's sake, and uh, we don't, for Christ's sake. The guy that they're worshiping today is number one tenet of all time. Love thy neighbor as you love yourself. And that was even skewed because I think neighbor technically going a very specific amount of feet. It's not meant everybody. But even if you took it at that, where empathy, if you went up to Jesus and said, empathy is evil, empathy's a sin, that might literally slap you in the face.
Yeah.
So, like, it's all a system of weaponizing and fractionating everyone into their segments. And I think that's the thing. Algorithms help do that. So I do think, honestly, the thing that help here's something that actually does help me. This is a really lame thing, but it does occasionally make me feel better about the world. I walk my dogs every day. And literally, I know for a fact some of the people I interact with are conservative as fuck, and we could probably want to strangle each other if like we got into an actual topic about anything like that. But I feel like as I say hi or like get to know them and stuff, occasionally I am able to like slide some of those things in there, slide some of my progressive opinions in. And
Yeah.
like I think you have to simultaneously I don't know. I'm not full on olive branch, but like if you're nice to me, I'm not gonna be an awful person to you.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be shitty people, but I do think people need to recognize the system needs to change. And I think there are some things though that you have to like I think some people thought what they think I literally got the impression that I've not yelled at someone. The difference not every time I yell at someone is this one, but I have actually shamed some people into changing their behavior because they're like, "Oh shit!" If like Neil pointed out some really fucked up valid shit, oh no, and then they literally have kind of like been like they just kind of they sometimes they'll shy away, but like I'm pretty good at it sometimes, but it doesn't always work. So I have to use like whatever tools I have for the You know, I use what tools I have, so I'm just throwing out stuff that works for me, and occasionally shutting stuff down works. I don't always do it, like, I'm a people pleaser, and I'm not in the office. I've had bosses say sexist things,
Hmm.
and unfortunately, I had to Louis Theroux. Like, I had a boss literally pull up someone that we might collaborate with and go, "Oh, do you remember her?" And I was like, "Not really. I don't know." I was like, "Oh, she came and visited or whatever. Like there was a meeting." I was like, "I don't know."
Hmm.
And he like pulls her picture up from her website and was like, "She's really pretty, huh? Like she's very pretty." And I'm like, I just went.
Um,
I literally was like, I don't know how. I didn't say. I just went. I kind of nodded a little, but I mostly was silent and stared at him like, "Why are you at? Like, what are you saying that
mhm.
doesn't have any." I kind of wanted to be like, what does she know? I was like,
So I,
that's great, but what qualifications does she have for this project? And
yeah,
why should I care?
yeah,
Like that's what we're talking about. So yeah, that was
yeah. So I, a little bit of a tangent here, but I worked for a company for a couple of years. I'm in tech, so it's predominantly male. I can assure you it is very sexist.
sure.
Currently facing a lot of that right now. In my previous position, I would be on a client and I would be the only woman there. They My colleagues would go through and rank all the women on the client side on terms of how, how effable they were. These were married men with kids. They were managers, they were upper management. They weren't like, there was it was really kind of gross. yeah, they would have this like rating system. They would talk about it very openly with me, not, I mean, with me around.
Yeah,
And there's nothing I could do about it. It's like I did have, some complaints to HR about other things that happened. HR didn't give a shit. So I was like, well, what do I do here? Just, sit there and listen
yeah,
to it. I had a male manager tell me I was pretty a couple of times and start massaging my shoulders in the middle of a meeting. Like he did that a few times. Wasn't doing that to any other, male colleagues of mine.
yeah, yeah.
Um, I had another I was on a work trip and had another he wasn't my manager, but he was trying to get me, it was a consulting gig. So he was trying to get me on his project and he was like, "Why don't you just come up to my hotel room and we can talk about it?" And this was like 1 or 2 a.m. in the morning. Um it was a lot of like stuff that went on like that. And like one other one of my managers was like blatantly hitting on me. Um and it was, yeah, it was
Yeah,
just very like, yeah.
yeah.
So when you say that, yeah, I'm like, "Oh, well, that's actually nice." All he did was call her pretty, that's it. Because like, the stuff I saw or experienced sometimes, I was like, "Oh god," like, and it's,
So that is okay. Well, I'm good to. I'm glad that's low level misogyny, but
it
I
is.
was still uncomfortable with
Oh,
it,
yeah, for
and
sure, as you should be, and it's not, yeah, it's not okay, but I'm just saying, like, it is pretty bad,
that's wild.
and
That,
people
but
are like, yeah, and that's just
but
my
here's the
experience,
thing,
like,
right?
I
That's the
know,
thing, though. You can't. This is what I hate so much. You can't literally do anything, or they're gonna destroy you.
yeah,
Like another guy in that room has to be the one to be like, "What the are you doing?" And
yeah,
here's the thing: for the guys out there, you have to play it one way. There's only one way to play this. It works every time. Sorry, almost every time. You could be dealing with a psychopath. That's fine. Just ignore them. You have to literally have true righteous indignation. You have to literally, in your heart of hearts, believe like like you have to play it as that's the craziest thing I've ever heard anyone say, but you have to back it up. Now, here's the kicker: if you know they're married guys with kids or whatever, you dig hard on family values. You make them eat shit about it in the night. You're like, what the dude? What would you're like? And Tim Robinson does it so well. There's like a whole sketch about it
yeah,
where he literally the sketch is they're hanging out with their friends and everyone's complaining about their wives, and he's like, man, if you had my, they're like, oh, you're getting another one. He's like, man, if you had my wife, you'd plug back a few cans too. And then it has a montage of all the nice things she does for him. And he literally, the twist is the funny part of the sketch is him being like, no, no, I didn't mean any of that. I love my wife. And he like defends his wife. But Tim Robinson, in many of his sketches, even, I think that's the other way. That's another great one. It's again, you don't have to scream. This is my favorite Tim Robinson for real. I wanted ever want to do this to somebody in Detroiters. They're at a business lunch, and the guy says some joke. Oh, he's like, "How's your wife?" Something, something, something. He's like, "Something, something, something." Just don't tell my girlfriend. And like, they kind of like the guy kind of laughs about it, and Tim Robinson's character just goes, I didn't like that joke. I love my wife. I don't think that's the kind of joke that my wife would think would be funny. And I don't think you and I would say that in front of her. I don't think you should say that about your wife. And like the guy's kind of like, it was just a joke, man. He's like, yeah, I don't think that's very funny. I love my wife. And like, but here's the thing. Honestly, it's a very good test. Only a truly bad person will dig in forever on that one. Because if you make that joke and someone's defending that they love their wife, that's a really up thing to say. But I what? Joking about cheating on her is funny? Question mark. Like, imagine what you're saying, right? So you have to honestly present it as if their world is so unreal. Like you're like, I can't. Your reality is fucked, dude. But you have to genuinely feel it. You have to do that. You have to like, and it's hard to channel. But if you channel that energy, there are people that will change. They
yeah,
might not inside, but they'll never say it to you again. They'll never look. You're never going to stop Nazis. It's clear. There's Nazis exist, and we already proved they're one of the most despicable ideologies ever, and they currently still exist. The only thing you can do is make sure they don't say that. That's what you do. It's not shame of like I feel bad because I'm a bad person. It's they know no one will tolerate. But I think a lot of guys can't sit there and hear like, let's rank the fuckability of clients and not
Mhm.
be like, dude, what are we do? Like that's disgusting,
Yeah.
right? Someone has to be able to say that, and I think a lot of guys are scared to say it that do want to say something.
Yeah. Well, I know I can't say anything ever.
You can't say anything,
Um, no.
so we
And
got to convince more guys to do that. How do we do that?
it's really like yes and no. Like it's so I talk about it with my therapist all the time. So obviously I'm a woman of color and like I we're tired. I
Yeah,
can also say it. I'm exhausted. Like
yeah,
I don't have the energy to go and like fight anymore. Like I've been
yeah,
fighting my whole life and it's like only in the last like what, maybe decade people have started to woken up. Like this has been my entire life.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it's,
yeah,
like, not up to me to educate anybody or do anything, like, my only job at this point for myself is to heal from the systems that broke me. Like,
yeah,
that is it, like, at
yeah,
this point.
yeah,
Like, I it is up to other people to, like, continue this because, like, us we've done dealt with this our whole life. Like, when people are shocked that all this stuff happens or, like, is happening, I'm like, "Where were you all these years? Like, what
yeah, yeah,
Wait, you
yeah.
just you had no idea this was occurring? You had no idea this is a
Oh,
precedent you're
yeah,
facing?
no,
Like, no? We're
I
like, "Really?" And fair, you didn't, but now you
some
do,
of
so
them,
now you can
yeah,
do something with it. But, like, as someone who's, like, faced this their entire life, like, don't expect me to, like if I wanna fight, that's
yeah,
I will, but don't expect me to
sure,
do it. Don't expect me to go, like, educate people and tell them what
yeah,
to do or whatever. That's on them. Like, they can go
sure,
figure out how to do that at this point. Um,
yeah, yeah,
my
that's
only job is to protect myself at this point and just make sure, like, I'm okay. Because 'cause it's been a lot of I'm sitting here telling you everything I've been through, but, like, that's everything I have had to deal with in my
yeah,
life, and there's so much more that I could give you examples of, and it's like, what do I how much do I keep fighting? Like, where do I fight? Where do I go? Whatever. So, like,
yeah,
my only job at this point, I feel like, is just to heal myself.
yeah,
And I think it's up to somebody else to go educate themselves on what's happening in the world or what has happened and take that accountability and like, no, you may have not actually done that yourself, but like you can do that. But I really don't
yeah,
think it's my job to sit here and tell
sure,
somebody how to behave. Because it hasn't worked for me in the past. It's not going to work for me now. Like, I'm not doing it.
yeah,
I'm not going to
yeah,
continue to, um, I mean, I think enough people are aware now. So yeah, they can continue to be aware. They can continue to be shocked by everything that happens. But like, this is the reality for so many of us. And
yeah.
yeah, so
Believe women, defend women, please. People of color, or just anyone of color that is in
yeah,
this country, please do something. Please, like donate, speak out. Don't let
yeah,
people get away with this, and don't let that. Don't make people have to do the labor that don't deserve to have to do the labor anymore. So
yeah,
that's a great message. Um, we'll talk to you next time about the manosphere. I was actually pretty amused by this. It
mm,
didn't dishearten me as much because I think they're all going to get some quick, stiff comeuppance eventually. I
okay,
think they're going to lose all their. So anyway, not specifically from this or anything, but I think just in general, I think their grift is going to collapse. But
yeah,
this is his love blind. Um, you can follow us and rate us or review us. Actually, like and subscribe on YouTube. Rate us or review us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Follow us at Is Love Blind Podcast on Instagram, TikTok. Actually, YouTube is also Is Love Blind Podcast. Um, Tell a friend, start a discussion, engage. Anything I'm missing?
nope, I think you covered it.
All right. Well, we'll see you all next time.
All right, bye everyone.